Hello, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Galaxy Hoppers channel, where we are blending the esoteric with the sexual, the spiritual, the occult, and the ancient, grounding it all into reality and helping you create the reality of your dreams through ancient and modern wisdom. Today, I want to talk to you about what is wrong with relationships in the 21st century. So, guys, I got a lot to say on this. Stay with me. Okay, so relationships, dating. Specifically, what I want to talk to you guys about today is that first date. Date numero uno, the very first one. And the reason I want to talk to you about this today is because, guys, we're fucking it up big time. The way that we're handling these very first dates. And we are missing so much of what is actually available to us and the magic that is available in the universe if we just apply a really simple reframe to the way that we see our dates. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to apply some pretty simple universal laws, those big 12 universal laws that everybody talks about. I talk about them a lot in my videos. We'll link some of them down below. We're going to apply those into the premise of dating so that we can expand our view of what dating is actually meant to be and the way that we connect with people, and hopefully have a way better experience actually dating people and going on those first dates, and B, expand our network, meet more cool people, and allow more magic to come into our lives. So how are we going to do that? Let's talk about the way that we currently frame our first dates, the way that society has taught us to frame a date. The way that we do that right now is, I'm going to use like old school 80s societal expectations right now, guys. So if this isn't resonating with you as this expectation, that's totally cool. I want you to do some journaling on what does a first date look like to you? What are your expectations of a first date? The reason I'm using the kind of like outdated 80s to 90s style dating from a movie example is because with my generation, that is so built into our subconscious mind that we don't even realize it's there half the time. So if you were anywhere between like 40 and 20, that this is probably going to apply to you on some level if you watched any TV or any pop culture ever. Some part of this is going to be in there. It might not be the primary one though, so I do definitely encourage you to spend some time journaling and evaluating what could this look like for you? What are your expectations? How might this be showing up in your life? Okay, so let's talk about that like stereotypical 80s, 90s Hollywood pop culture date where that first date is where you instantly know in the first 20 minutes, maybe even 20 seconds, if this is the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And you can make or break it based on whether or not you show up with flowers, whether or not you show up with chocolates, whether or not there's a boombox playing outside somebody's window. Who knows what movie that's from? And hey, I'm not pop culturally aware most of the time, so give me some credit for that one and for knowing it. So we get these really big expectations about the primal importance of a first date. And we even see this in like, reality TV shows. I don't even watch TV. So guys, I don't know if these are around anymore, but I know about 10 years ago, I think it was, this was all over TV, all over like TLC and all the like, reality TV, real life shows or channels. Was this idea of the importance of like a first date or a blind date. And, they would have camera crews like following the woman and following the man, because heaven forbid that this would be not a heteronormative couple, right? So they would follow the woman and they would follow the man, and they would talk about the woman's life and what she's looking for, and the man's life and what he's looking for, and how excited they are and how nervous they are, and like there would be so much buildup, and then they would go on this like crazy date, and there would be like a hot air balloon ride, and then there would be a fancy dinner at a 5-course restaurant, and she would be getting her nails done and getting a blowout, and he'd be getting a professional beard trim, and so much insanity around this first date premise, because societally we have been conditioned to believe that the first date makes or breaks the rest of the relationship. And as a result of that, we have been primed to only look for first date opportunities in our opposite gender or whatever gender it is that we are attracted to in that gender and our relationships with them. Again, this is broad strokes here, so this isn't going to apply to every single situation, but when you are in that state of I'm looking for a partner, I want a partner, when you are in that state, basically everybody of the gender that you consider to be partner potential becomes like a walking little piece of partner, potential partner. This is what happens in our subconscious mind when we're so focused on finding a partner. We get so focused on the goal that it's all we can see. And this is where we get into trouble because A, we've been taught that we need to have a partner in order to feel whole, not factually true. B, we've been taught that in order to get that partner, we must have an epic first date. And C, we've been taught that every single person that we ever talk to is first date potential. And so we treat every single attractive human that we meet, that there's any sense of resonance with, as first date potential. And what this does is it puts this really shitty, weird energy into the space when we meet new people. And again, it's a roller coaster. It's not just because, oh, you really want to have a partner, but it's because we're essentially like, if we were to use, let's use a sales example. And this is hilarious because when I was in corporate, I always used dating examples to explain sales concepts. Now I'm not in corporate and I'm using sales concepts to explain a dating premise. So in today's day and age, we all say when you're doing sales, you don't want to look and treat the person in front of you that is going to be buying your product as a number. Nobody wants to be treated as a number, right? Nobody wants to know that the only reason you're talking to them is because you're hoping they're going to buy something from you. And that doesn't matter if you're in corporate sales or cell phone sales or makeup sales or sex toy sales, I don't care. People can feel that. And that creates a really shitty resonance between you two right off the hop. And so now you can imagine in dating, when all you're doing is second you meet somebody new is sizing them up for dating potential, for relationship potential, for partnership potential. They can feel that. Some part of their being, it doesn't matter how tuned in they are, can feel that. And that makes that initial interaction potentially very awkward, right? So that's the first thing that we're really struggling with current dating is the moment you meet somebody that is potentially a partner, you go directly into hunter mode. You go directly into like, I'm going to make this person, I'm going to find out if they're like a right fit, and then I'm going to prove to them that I'm a right fit so I can ask them out on that epic first date, because when I ask them out on that epic first date, guaranteed that we're going to end up living together a happy life. We're going to have our 1.8 kids and our little white picket fence. It's an exhausting way to look at the world, and it's not the way the universe works. So, first of all, that does not resonate with the other person and it feels like shit. So please don't do that to them. If you genuinely care about this person and you want a good relationship with them, do not treat them like a number. In the sales world is what we would say. Do not treat them like a piece of meat. Treat them like a human. Be genuinely interested in them as an individual, not as a sex or relationship option. What's the word I'm looking for? Object. Sex or relationship object is the word I'm looking for there. You want to treat them like a human that has their own wishes, thoughts, desires, and really treat that initial meeting with them as an opportunity to mutually evaluate if there's any resonance there. Okay? So that's step one. Let's just take back all of the charge and all of the expectations around that initial meeting. And if you see a cute girl or a cute guy or a cute somebody walking down the street and you would like to potentially engage with them, you feel that soul resonance with them, go and treat them like a freaking human, please. And don't even get me started on online dating and Tinder and all of that nonsense. I could do a whole probably series on that. But anyways, let's stay grounded and let's assume that you're meeting them in person, or in the grocery store with a mask on or something, right? Treat them like a human, because guess what, guys? They are a human. They are a human, and they want to feel like they are human, and they want to be treated and respected as such. So step number one to up your dating game in the new paradigm, treat everybody you meet like a human. I know it sounds simple, but it is not actually easy because we have been conditioned not to do that. So really, I want you to evaluate the last few interactions you've had with a new person and spend some time really reflecting on them. Were you treating them like a person, or were you treating them like someone that was a sexual or relationship object? Were you actually genuinely caring about getting to know them, or were you just evaluating whether or not they stacked up against the list that you've created as far as manifesting your dream partner? So that's step one. Now, the next thing, and this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is the one that actually causes the most problems in the universe, is that we have been conditioned to assume if we have resonance with somebody else, or somebody else has resonance with us of, I'm going to say opposite gender or same gender, whichever gender is the gender that you are sexually attracted to and romantically attracted to. If it is your gender, if it is the opposite gender, or if it is both. When those two people come together, those two individuals come together, we have been conditioned to think that if there is any type of resonance, that it must be relationship resonance and relationship potential. So if we feel any pinge of like heart effulgence or sexual energy or any type of chakra activation or intellectually stimulated, or if we laugh a lot, if we have a positive experience with this new person that we are spending time with, we are super deeply conditioned to see them as one thing and one thing only, and that is a potential mate. That is evolutionary. It is also modern societal. So you come by it super honestly, and you get to choose and you get to change it. So what's the problem with this? Like, why is this even an issue? Why am I on a massive soapbox rant about this? Because anytime we decide that we're going to see one thing in the universe with one potential outcome, we severely limit our ability to create in the world, that person's ability to create in the world, and the ability for the universe to bring magic into our lives. So let's use this in a really easily grounded example. Let's say I'm working on manifesting my soulmate. If I'm working on manifesting my soulmate, oftentimes what I see in my clients is they have this tendency of wanting to focus on only this person. We have our manifestation checklist. We look at it every single day. And anytime we see somebody that looks like they maybe have 10% of that manifestation list, we are like on them like hot sauce. We are all over that person. And we see them as only one thing, and that is our potential soulmate, because that's what we're manifesting. The equivalent here would be if you were trying to manifest a new home, and you had your list of your new home, and then let's say in your new home you wanted it to have stairs and you wanted it to have blue walls and big windows. Let's say that's on your manifestation list. Now in this new home, every time you drive past a home or a building or a shed or a gas station, if it has any of those requirements, if it has, what did I even say now? Windows, blue walls, and stairs, if it has all three of those things, then boom, that's a potential home for you to live in. Now we can see how this might be problematic, because first of all, it might not be a home. Maybe it's a barn, maybe it's a hockey rink, maybe it's a gas station. It has a purpose and there's a reason you're resonating with it, but it is not to make it your future home. Maybe that home that you find that you resonate already has a family that's living in it, right? There's lots of reasons. It's so easy to see when we have this manifestation list and we just assume that everything that fits the list must be a future home potential and we treat it as such. We miss the opportunity to see what that thing is actually in our life for. Maybe we just need gas for the car or a bathroom break, right? Maybe we want to go watch a hockey game. So I hope this analogy is kind of helping you like expand your view a little bit of just because it fits your manifestation list or your idea of an ideal partner, if you're not into manifesting yet, just because this person fits that list does not mean that you treat them as that and only that. It is very likely that this person resonates with you for a different reason. Now, if we think of the number of people that you meet in your entire life, the number of people you resonate with in your entire life, and then you whittle that down and you compare that to the number of partners, like romantic and or sexual partners that you've had in your life, you can see very clearly that that number is pretty unbalanced, right? Probably you have a whole lot more here in the people I have met and had a good time with or resonated with on some level list or stack than you do over here in this like stack of people that I've had some type of romantic, sexual and or relationship with. There's a reason for that. Not everybody that we meet that fits our criteria is meant to fall into partner and relationship, but they do resonate for a reason. The universe brings us things that resonate to us, either because that's what we're calling in, or because they're a lily pad to what we're calling in, or because there's a lesson that we need to learn. That's why things get called into our lives. So when somebody comes into your life, what if you could just get curious about why is this person here? Yes, they fit 10% plus of my manifestation list or my idea of what an ideal partner is. And I get to get curious about why they're showing up in my life in the first place. I get to figure out who they are and why they're here and where we can help each other before we even go down this like supercharged first date experience. I get the luxury of that. It's fun. What an adventure to find out why this new person has come into my life. What an adventure to find out why this person has vibrated at my resonance. And maybe, guys, just maybe it's because they end up being my next business partner, or they end up teaching me a super valuable life lesson, right? Or they end up being friends with who my future partner is meant to be, or they end up taking me on a trip to Spain where I meet my future partner, right? This is the way the universe works. The universe works in these like recalculations because we cannot see in our tiny little ego mind. We do not have the capacity to hold the full blueprint of what is meant to unfold in our lives. We're just not capable of doing it. And our ego mind likes to think that it can. It likes to think that, hey, I'm going to like go to this event, and then eventually I'm going to meet this person at this age, and and then I'm going to have kids at this age, and then we're going to have a house, and then we're going to have a cottage. And it likes to think it can plan out the entirety of our lives. And that's factually false. It is untrue. You can't do it. It's literally impossible. Ask any person who's like over the age of 60 if they had their life perfectly 100% planned out and nothing surprised them, and they will tell you no. And that is because we are incapable of doing that. So why are we trying to do that with a relationship? Why are we trying to do that with a person we've met for 30 seconds? We're trying to evaluate whether or not they're date material, and then we're using that to evaluate how we entertain, how we interact with them. And we're missing, when we do that, the magic of the process that the universe provides for us. We're completely missing that maybe this person is going to change our lives, or introduce us to someone that's going to change our lives, or introduce us to an opportunity that's going to change our lives. Or maybe they're just going to be a fun person to bump into on the side of the street and tell us a funny story that we think about for a few days, right? Not everything has to be this massive karmic thing, but there is always a purpose. And when we get really caught up in only seeing everything as one thing, we get in the way of our own evolution. We get in the way of the universe actually bringing us what is meant for us. So I hope that helps. I hope that lands. I hope my random examples explain this really well to you. Thank you guys for being here. Let me know if you have any questions about that whatsoever in the comments, of course. I would be more than happy to dive more deeply into this if any part of it was unclear, either through more series or just answering your questions. Super open to all of that. And of course, you guys all know how YouTube works. So by now, I think at least, you know that I have content coming out every single week. You know, if you want to hear about it first, you got to hit the subscribe button. And you know that if you like it and you comment, that makes this video more accessible to more people. So if any of that resonates to you, please do all or any of those things. I'm either way super grateful for your energy, and I will see you in the next episode. Mwah. Bye.